hear a lot is that a good AI agent developer would do a lot of, it's like a little plumber. It's like there's a piping a lot. The
Right.
main work of the development is thinking about this piping. So integration is a key word, I would say.
Right.
So Arman, we need to talk about integrations.
All right. Let's do it.
How it looks like when I think about a pipe, I connect it, it's very easy. But for software, there is an abstraction that can give a little knot in our brains. How the integration? What can I integrate with? How does integration work between OpenServ and my agent?
So, okay, that part is super straightforward. If you're building an agent on our platform, we would recommend you to use our SDKs. And when you're doing that, all you need to do to get your agent live on our platform is to host it somewhere. I'm not sure if at the time of viewing this video we're gonna have tutorials for that, but we have those planned as well. Like, what are the best ways to deploy your agents on the internet? Because we're not hosting your agents, you need to host them somewhere on a publicly available, accessible URL. And
We have it on our docs.
perfect. And then you just need that URL entered on our platform. And if you're building with the SDK, there's practically nothing else to do. Whenever we need your capabilities, whenever we need your expertise, we're going to call you. And that integration will be seamless. You just need to implement your code. And obviously, this is the first start. Like, this is between the OpenServ platform and your agent. And in order for these agents to be a little bit more useful, for example, you could build an agent for organizing someone's calendar or reporting on someone's calendar, right? Or maybe monitoring someone's emails on Gmail. And what we do have on our platform, natively supported, are a selection of first-party integrations. So, for example, one integration that we have is all the Google Workspace suite. We primarily focus on Google Calendar and Gmail at this point, but you can easily let your users hook up their Gmail accounts with just a couple of clicks. And when they give you the permission to use their Gmail account or integration, your agent has access to a plethora of tools. For example, like fetching the last 5 emails from this certain email address. If you remember the inversion of control that we talked about before, what we do is we take care of all of the deciphering of the user's request, and we just need your expertise. When the user says, hey, like, I don't know, let's say your expertise is productivity consultant, and your agent specifically focuses on giving feedback on your tone in emails. Just a hypothetical example. You could easily make use of the Gmail integration without writing any code, without knowing the Google API documentation on how to fetch emails and how to read their contents and so on. Our platform does all of that for you. And you just need to define a function with certain parameters, like, for example, this function expects an array with up to 5 email subject and body text. So imagine an array with an object shape of subject and body as strings. And you might require the Gmail integration. And we're going to figure out all of these for you based on the user request and give you the 5 emails, their subject and their body text. So you do your magic of giving feedback to the user about their tone and their style. This is just an example integration. Furthermore, you can use our integration engine to dynamically request this information in your capabilities as well, in text. So if you're using our SDK, you can easily say, give me the last 5 emails of the user in your agent as text, as if you're calling a function where you don't pass in the exact parameters, but you just pass in the request in text. And it still works with the integrations on our platform to fetch those details and give them to you in the shape that you wanted. Another way you can use our integrations engine is by quite literally knowing the specific API calls that you want on the third party that we integrate with. Because we also give you the power to directly get access to, for example, in this case, Google Calendar's API, and you can route your requests over us to that API. For example, call this endpoint with, imagine you don't want to use our own Gmail integrations engine for sending an email, but you want to write your own to send an email. Then they're like, and also imagine you know how to use the Gmail API. You don't have to set up anything related to that. You don't have to set up any Google libraries or anything on your end, because we give you a method to just trigger one of our integrations. You just pass in the URL and all the parameters, like this is a post request, this is the body, and we do that request for you on behalf of the user and still give you the output. So you can be as deterministic and as clear and clinical about your use of third-party tools on our platform, which is infinitely useful. So what we talked about here is A, you know nothing about the third-party integration, our platform handles it for you. B, you know a little bit about the third-party integration, but you write about your request in text. And C, where you have the full control of the integration, and you write your own modules, your own imperative code to talk to the third-party API, but it routes over us, so that it's also secure for the user, where we are the authentication provider and everything. So you don't have to worry about getting the user's authentication information. They don't have to sign into your application. You don't have to build any of that. We do that for you for the integrations, which is super cool and super useful. I agree. I wish I also had that reactions. But so OpenServ SDK gives you many controls over the life cycle of your application's needs. And what is left to you as the developer is to bring in the expertise, the creativity, because we have everything else for you already built. And lastly, there is this hot new topic of integrations, Model Context Protocol, MCP. MCP has been the next big thing for a couple of weeks now. Practically all AI tools are trying to add support for MCP, and they are trying to build MCP servers and clients for their own endpoints and their own functionality and so on. And we have integrated MCP into our core technology, which means it's now easy for you to make use of third-party MCP servers. For example, if you're building an AI agent with our SDK, you can use third-party MCP servers to do the tasks for you, and then you can report back the result to the OpenServ platform. Or as a user who can bring in their own MCP connections, you can also use that and make use of those third-party integrations a user would bring in naturally. One of the first integrations we have is with Zapier, for example. And Zapier is this API integrations engine, automation engine that allows you to act on a software as a service based on a trigger from another software as a service. For example, when there's a new customer in HubSpot, create a welcome card on Canva or whatever on ChatGPT and then send it to them via email. I just made it up. You could have such integration with Zapier, and they support thousands of tools, maybe 8,000 software as a service tools with triggers and actions. And what a user can do with our MCP integration right now is easily bring in their own Zapier MCP server and connect all of the integrations that they already have on Zapier on our platform, either for them to use or in their projects to be used, which means our agents as well, third-party agent developers as well, can make use of this giant ecosystem of tools. Because what could happen is, imagine someone brings in their Zapier MCP server and it uses Shopify. There's a Shopify integration to create a product on Shopify. Again, just like making up examples. Now, we don't yet have a native integration with Shopify at OpenServ. So they bring it through Zapier, and your job is to create a product visual and textual information based on a research another agent did on your competitors. And you might say, my agent creates all of these visuals and textual definitions of this product, and just another agent or your agent still can make use of this Zapier connection to create the actual product on Shopify, which is insane. It's mind-blowing. To be able to do this without doing anything practically is mind-blowing. So I think that quite wraps up what you can do with integrations on our platform. And no, it does not. There is yet one more thing. The third integration that we have with MCP practically allows anyone to use their workspace, OpenServ workspace, as an MCP. Practically allows anyone to use their OpenServ workspace as an MCP server. So what happens is you build a workflow, a project, you put together a bunch of agents, they can do stuff, and any and everything that workspace, the agents on that workspace can do, is exposed as an MCP server. So you can take that server and put that in your favorite MCP client. And right now we have a couple MCP clients, but I'm pretty sure more and more will come up. Like, this is a very active area of research and development in the industry right now. The most native one is the cloud application from Anthropic that allows you to have multiple MCP servers. So expose the workspace as an MCP server, bring that to your favorite MCP client interface, and interact with that workspace and all of the agents in that workspace over the MCP protocol, which again makes it infinitely expansible, because now you can connect it to any other tool on earth that supports MCP, of course. Now, in one of our early developer previews, what we did is local browser control. There's an MCP server that works with Playwright that allows any agent on any platform to open up a web browser on your local computer and to manipulate it. Now, what we did is we built an OpenServ agent that can make use of this MCP server that runs locally on your computer, that allows it computer use, and just connect it to any other agent on the platform as part of a multi-agent setup. So what happens is the user creates a workspace, puts in the local browser agent, and provided that they have the local MCP server setup, which is not trivial right now, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be common knowledge in a couple of months. Now, every single project on OpenServ can make use of your local browser on your own computer and can manipulate that browser. This is especially useful because now you don't have to give your tokens, user information, session information, login information to any third party, not even OpenServ. Like, run this tool locally on your computer and stay logged in to those web pages. And the workspace that you create on the platform will be able to use your local computer to do stuff for you. This was just a test that we did. It's not live yet on the platform, but it works. And maybe by the time of weaving again, these agents might be operational on the platform. So there is so many more possibilities, practically like a big infinity number of possibilities that one can realize with the OpenServ platform.
Wow, this is super exciting. Now let me break down for my learning path of AI development, because now it does make everything much more simple, but let me break down in like a simple example. We already have Twitter integration, for example. That is super easy, right? You go to the integrations left sidebar, I click integrations, I go to Twitter, authorize, and that's it. It's one authorize button. 2, no more. That's it, super easy. And with that, I can already ask an agent that I can not even need to create that. I can just go to the agent builder, no code in the platform, and ask, send a Twitter on my behalf about I don't know, my cat. She's passing by, I thought about AI agents, what the importance of AI agents. And it will post on my Twitter. I do not even have to think, I just give the topic.
Exactly.
But what happened when me as a developer, I want other users to make use of my Twitter agent? And you are a user going to the OpenServ platform, and I have created this agent because it has some of the connections that we talk about, and it does something more special than just this simple act. How does it work?
Our Twitter integration is native, which means it practically offers all of the capabilities of the Twitter API, including uploading videos and images and so on. So you don't have to do anything for that. As you said, you don't even have to write code. You can just go to the agent builder, write in your prompt to do whatever you want, the style that you want the narrative to be in, and just click create, and anyone can use your agent and tie that to their Twitter account, and it's going to work. So maybe you'd like to build an agent that creates specific images, for example, in a certain style, and also the Twitter text. And if you really insist them to be in a single agent, you could still make use of our Twitter integration in the ways that I described before, either completely autonomously, or by describing a text, or by calling the Twitter API endpoints through our agent SDK. And you can still make use of the Twitter SDK. So like, it's super, super straightforward to get started with and build whatever creative ideas you might have that you haven't built yet.
Got it. So if I have created my special case Twitter scenario, specialize in creating special cat images when you post on Twitter, you're a user using our platform, you would choose in the marketplace, you would choose this agent, my agent,
right.
and
right.
what you need to do is connect to your account. So you will connect, you will do the same procedure as me as a developer. You will say, connect. Easy as that.
Yeah.
Cool. And what happened with, you mentioned that OpenServ has already an integration engine that you can make use of it. If we don't have that native integration on OpenServ platform.
So
Maybe.
this is why we're adding support for MCP servers to our SDK as well. Because for any application that we don't natively integrate with, as long as they have MCP support, your agent can still use all of the tools there. And you don't have to build anything for it. You just need to paste in the MCP server description to our agent.
And what happened if it's a very specialized thing
API that does not have any MCP servers?
Yeah.
Well, then you have to resort back to the way that you built software before, create those connections, somehow figure out a way to connect to that API to fetch data, and then you can still make it accessible on the platform, either by uploading a file or just returning it as a response, and the platform just takes care of the rest of what it needs to do. Most of the time, we figured out that people want their responses in text or in PDF. Again, and that's not something you have to worry about. You just pass in whatever text or whatever output that you created, and we do the conversion for you. But we have a couple of examples in our repository. I think the link would be at the bottom here. This is a call to our video editor. We have a couple of examples on our GitHub that does exactly that. For example, for Dex Screener, to call a third-party API and return certain information about trending tokens and so on. It's very, very simple Web 2.0 integration with a third party that practically every backend developer would know how to do.
That's brilliant. Thank you. It does helps a lot to understand a lot of the difficulties that probably lots of developers will have.